What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So hopefully everyone is having an amazing weekend. I do want to talk about some events and data points that is coming out this week that could cause a lot of volatility in Lucid. So just want to share that with you. In addition to that, I want to go over some technical analysis, give you my prediction where I see things going by the end of the week, where Lucid could go. But before I get into any of that though, making sure you guys hit that thumbs up, subscribe, greatly appreciate that. Pop over to my Discord, link in the description below. It's a free chat, a lot of good people. And one final thing I want to share with you, there is a massive promo that a lot of individuals need to take advantage of, and it is this. So if you just sign up, just deposit $1 only, you get 6 free stocks. It's absolutely insane. Link is in the description below, and also I'll put it in the comments as well. So take advantage of this deal, and it is only until June the 30th. So it just recently started as well. So take advantage of this. But moving on though. So again, there's going to be a lot of volatility in this week. I'm sure a lot of us already tentatively know that. The fear is starting to increase once again, largely brought on because of Friday, the CPI data that did come out. Unfortunately, on a month-by-month basis, it did actually go up significantly, even well above the forecast and even the year over year, which was very surprising and caused a lot of downtrend. So you can even see the intraday chart from Friday. It had a little bit more optimism because if you actually look at it on paper, it's not that bad. So I'm just going to break this down for you. So the energy component, so you can see as far as the fuel, which I'm sure a lot of us already tentatively know that, it went from 2.7% to 16.9%. So if you subtract the energy components of this, so the gasoline, the energy commodities, and the fuel oil, it's actually not that bad. We'd be actually negative on a month over month. So it is actually one of those tricky kind of situations right now. So CPI data, if you take out energy, is a lot lower. So that is a very strong positive. But if you add the energy component, that does theoretically help a lot of EVs as far as overall demand. So it's one of those things that it's like, yes, it's a double-edged sword. It's ultimately going to benefit Lucid at the end of the day, as you see a lot of articles coming out saying that higher gas prices are going to convert a lot of individuals to EV vehicles. So this is where hopefully in Q2 and Q3, their earnings, we're going to see a nice big bump up in reservations, especially if you do couple that with Bank of America news about leasing, even more advantageous. So that is one of the things that is on the back burner behind everyone's mind this upcoming week, especially considering as well, this is the economic data that is coming out. One thing to watch for is on Wednesday. Actually, several things to watch for on Wednesday. I've always said, unfortunately, it comes down to consumers have been doing a very good job. Well, I guess not necessarily unfortunately, but consumers have been doing a very good job. They've been making their money. They've been maintaining their actual employment. So looking right here, retail sales, first thing in the morning. So that's going to be a fairly good projection of what possibly could be coming out of that. Is they're going to be seeing weakness on the consumer side, because like I've said, and even other institutions have been saying, that consumers are one of the only factors that's causing and kind of maintaining the overall economy. So whether you disagree with that or not, let me know that in the comments below. But retail sales is coming out, and it is expected to be a lot lower than the forecast. So previously it was 0.9, forecast is 0.2. So they are anticipating that to go down. In addition to that, later that day is going to be the Feds. Feds are going to ultimately increase their rates. I think that is more of a no-brainer. It's going to happen. But at what rate are they going to increase it? And also what guidance are they going to give about future meetings and things like that? Because right now it does look like the inflation report and everything is projecting a 75 basis point increase. So that might be something that could cause a little bit more spooking in the market, and that is going to be in the middle. So like I said, on Wednesday. And so there's going to be a lot of fear, a lot of volatility leading up to that. And honestly, I was very surprised leading up to the CPI data, the market was very much calm, which I strongly feel was brought on by a lot of institutions saying that CPI data was actually going to be a lot lower, that CPI data was a little bit more curved and is going to just be trending down. So I think this was a little bit more of a shocking to a lot of individuals. So take that how you see that. So that's some things that's going to be causing a little bit more volatility in the market. Some positives, more specifically for EVs, that's going to be still trickling over into next week. And in case you guys do not know, Biden is making the necessary steps for EVs to kind of flourish and with through their infrastructure, and that is a very big deal. So this came out recently on Thursday, so right before CPI data on the Friday. So at the end, this is a very good sign for a lot of EVs. It gives them a nice kind of strong report per se, but at the end of the day, this is going to roll over into next week, and it's going to be one of those things that is going to give a purpose and justification for a lot of EVs to hold their support levels, which is most likely around the S1. So I'm going to be touching on that when I do technical analysis. In addition to that, I'm sure a lot of us already tentatively know this, but Tesla about the 3-to-1 split as far as it being voted on. So that is going to be a very big deal because Tesla most likely next week is going to have a nice price appreciation because of this. I know technically Tesla and Lucid aren't necessarily the same, but there's always that trickle down effect, which whatever happens to Tesla, it does trickle down to a lot of the other EVs. So that's something for us to kind of look forward to per se. Again, that might not necessarily benefit us as much as Tesla, but still, it's one of those things that shows that Tesla is thriving and that Lucid and other EVs can do the same. So that, in my opinion, is a very strong thing, especially if you do couple that with this and other as far as infrastructure bills and whatnot. So I really do feel that given all of the market scenarios, that right now EVs is an amazing time to buy in. And that's why you saw a little bit more deviations kind of over the last several weeks where EVs have typically outperformed the rest of the other growth stocks, if you are going to compare them at least. That's why you've also been seeing a lot more institutions getting into a lot of these other EV companies as well. And looking right here, this is on the dark pool. So obviously you guys know by now, when I do my Lucid videos, you always see the ticker, live ticker going on, and I bring up about the block volume, saying how many shares are being purchased by institutions on a daily basis. That does not include anything being done on the dark pool. So I've been starting to focus on this because I've seen a little bit more abnormalities, a little bit more institutions buying Lucid on the dark pool exchange. If you guys don't know what the dark pool is or anything like that, let me know in the comments below. I'll definitely address that. I have brought it up in previous videos, so just don't want to duplicate it. But at the end, you can see this was from Friday. So there was some fairly big orders being done. So 1.3 million, 435,000, 793,000. So fairly big orders for Friday considering we were on a massive sell-off. But prior to that as well, you even see on Thursday, Wednesday, there's a lot of big orders being done behind the scenes for Lucid. So take that how you see that. That might be something for us to be aware of because institutions buying has typically always been 1 or 2 weeks before Lucid does have a massive breakout. So it might not necessarily be this week, but it's something for us as investors to keep in mind. But depending on your time horizon, none of this might matter anyways, because if you are investing for 2025 or longer, this is just going to be short-term volatility and you just need to enjoy the ride. Keep in mind though, I am not a financial advisor, so do your own due diligence at the end of the day. So one thing as well, before I go into some technical analysis, just want to give you a good projection of what the short interest is, because I like to use that as a good benchmark. Right now, the short score is 85.81. Day by day change from Friday. They actually closed out 1%, so that's fairly good. 2.71 million shares being returned. 21.79 is the short interest, which is relatively high. Still utilization at 100%. Cost to borrow is at 15.18. All of this information is available via Ortex. Link is in the description below. And so overall, things are fairly high. Shorts don't necessarily know what to do. And at the end, I always do like to look at a lot of the smaller signals, such as Friday. So Friday was a little bit more of a red day. Obviously, I don't need to tell you that. But look at the short interest. They actually closed out the positions. The fact is that they don't see it worthwhile for them to increase their positions because Lucid is a smoking gun and it's been quite some time since it's gone on a massive rally. And in my opinion, based on all of the news that's been coming out, it is well overdue. Unfortunately, lately, a lot of the news that's been coming out has been during very much red days, so it just gets brushed under the rug. It's about time that Lucid goes on a massive rally. So take that how you see that. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. One thing as well I find very interesting and very good to look at is the sentiment. So I'm just going to show you this Interactive Brokers. You can see right now a lot of the numbers are very much positive. So that is a very good thing. I always like to look at the tweet volume score and the sentiment score. Sentiment scores is the bigger account per se and what they're seeing and how it's being interpreted. So 1.4268, very specific number, but still it's clearly positive versus you can see that volume score is negative. So clearly, a lot of individuals aren't necessarily talking about it over the weekend, which is justifiable, right? But overall, looking at the sentiment score is very much positive. The buzz score is actually positive as well. Not as high as I'd like, but still it is positive. So clearly a lot of people are liking Lucid about these prices, regardless of it selling off on Friday, regardless of the CPI data, because again, if you actually read between the lines, it's not that bad. So hopefully a lot of investors do realize that and don't just see the CPI data and just panic. They actually look at the report, realize it's not that big of a deal because it's very energy based, and then they kind of take a step back, because energy in general, oil prices, I know it does suck, but again, it's going to really help EVs in the long run. So with that, I'm just going to cap it off with some technical analysis. So looking on the actual chart, I have the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages, Bollinger Bands, RSI, stochastic, and momentum. So despite the fear that's happening in the market, we're actually fairly flat, so exactly at zero. So we are maintaining the number of buyers, very positive thing. Stochastic, there is that deviation that started on Friday to form, and red line above the black, so showing a little bit more of a bearish sentiment. RSI is currently at 46, so fairly neutral. And looking on the actual chart, lower percentile of the Bollinger Band did actually occur, so we transitioned from there on Friday, which in general, even if you do take out the CPI data, this was most likely going to occur anyways, because we did actually fail to break out of that 50-day moving average. So 9 times out of 10 when that does occur, we consolidate and try again. Exactly what happened here. So we tried the 50-day moving average, tried again, failed. So we consolidated a little bit, tried again, consolidated, and tried again. So we are very resilient and trying to get past that 50-day moving average, which once we do get over that, we can easily break out. And again, when I do technical analysis, I look at a lot of the moving averages, indicators, and things like that. If you are a very strong believer in as far as the Elliott wave, I'm just going to go back to interactive brokers and show you something as well, because if you do like a lot of the Elliott wave kind of technical analysis, it does actually project Lucid going to a little bit higher, especially if we do get over this very pivotal point of $19.11. It does have a short-term price for Lucid at $20.73 to $21.08. So of course what I do for technical analysis is a little bit different than the Elliott wave, but at the end of the day, I do completely agree. If we get over this 1911 point, then we can easily break out. So personally, I feel that $20 is very much attainable by the end of the week, assuming the Feds don't increase it higher than the 75 points, because as soon as that news did come out, it already got factored into the price. So that's something for us to keep in mind. But personally, I always say, if you actually look at the balance sheet for Lucid, the basic balance sheet, it's actually not that bad. So right now, $5.39 billion in cash equivalent short-term investments, which is very impressive for a newer company out there. Total debt, $2.2 billion. A lot of people focus on that, but remember, $2 billion of this is very low debt, up to 1.25%, and that is until 2026. So that's something for us to kind of factor in. Yes, their balance sheet in general, even if you look at this, is fairly good, but that $2.2 billion is mostly financed very low interest rates. So regardless of the interest rates, even if they do increase the 75 basis points, it won't really affect Lucid as much as what a lot of people are factoring in. So take that how you see that. Let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below and where you see Lucid going by the end of the week. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. If you like my channel, you want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. And one final thing I just want to share with you, make sure you do take advantage of this deal. The link is in the description below. Like I said, just deposit $1, sign up, deposit $1, you get 6 free stocks. It is absolutely insane. This is why I'm going to keep pushing this, because this is an amazing deal. That take advantage of it. You never know, you could pull more Lucid stock or whatever, or anything like that. There's a lot of possibilities. But with that, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.